Hello, so I wasn't actually really planning on doing a stream today, but I thought as I had a bit of time about 8 o'clock, why not do one at the regular time? Whether or not I'm on for a full hour, I don't know. But the surplus police body armour came, so that's good. So I've got that one now, and this is the concealable style armour. Basically the one where it's designed so you can wear it underneath a jacket or whatever, and I can prove that in the stream if people want me to by putting my hoodie on over the top. And the shape of it, you can kind of just about see it for a coat, but not very much. If you weren't looking out for somebody wearing armor, you wouldn't see it. So basically how this works is you've got the two shoulder bits, so you can raise or lower it like that. I'll just stand up so you can see it actually, because it's quite a good little thing. So basically you can obviously have it higher or lower on your chest using these straps. Like that. That's pretty straightforward. And then these obviously affect the tightness. Good luck with your dentist appointments. I'm certainly not a fan of going to the dentist. There you go. So you can obviously have it lower or higher like that. But, you know, obviously with that completely undone, it will be very loose. But, yeah, it's quite good. So, thank you, Train Spotter. I've not heard of that one, so let me Google it. But, yeah. This is quite a comfortable bit of body armor, so it's stab and I think like spike level 1 protection, as well as you know, very basic like level 2 or level 3A Kevlar. But you can tell it's got kind of some spike protection, because if you do that, you can hear it makes kind of like a noise like you're hitting something that's hard, rather than regular Kevlar. Right, so let me Google that anyway. And tell you what I think. Oh, I just realised I'm streaming on Chrome, so if I start lagging out, it's sorry because I'm streaming on Chrome, but at least it'll hopefully last half an hour or more. Googling that comes up with no results, so I do not know what dosimeter you're on about, Train Spotter. Well, I was mostly on about this vest on this stream. These don't really cover too much of your lower stomach, White Wolf. If you see where I'm standing, it stops there. I think the police replaced these with vests that did cover more of the lower stomach, but these don't. The idea is that you can sit down comfortably with them on. All right, AJ, hello. What is it called? The Polaron Pripyat. Let me Google it, but last one you said didn't come up with any results whatsoever. Oh, it's one of those old Soviet ones. They're pretty cool, but it depends what you're paying for them. They're more valued as like collector's pieces than actual proper dosimeters, but they're not too bad. Yeah, my fishnet one has the same look to it, but obviously that isn't my skin under there. That's the Kevlar panel with its cover on, you know, with the mesh sticking through. I'd think White Wolf either level 3A or level 2. I don't know if the panels actually have a label on saying what they are, but the seller had loads of other body armors and all their other descriptions seemed accurate. So I'd assume this is either level 2 or 3A Kevlar. And then stab and spike 1, or normally stab 2, spike 1, because generally the spike ones are never as good as the stab rating. But as in like, you know, like stab and slash with regular knives, and then spike is for basically like ice pick kind of things. If I have to wear it out under a thing, yes, White Wolf. Because if I show you the other one, this one is definitely slightly more compact. I assume you can probably see that from there, but if you're wearing it under a jacket, you can probably see that this one is more compact. You can also tighten this more around your waist and the shoulders, which I like, without having to, you know, do other stuff. Obviously, this one is designed to be worn over the top of a shirt or whatever, or a jumper, or a jacket. This one's designed to be worn underneath. The protection rating is probably very similar on these two, but obviously I like the fact that this is a covert vest, so it doesn't really get in the way. Ask a White Wolf. Yeah, this one I know is a later UK police design than the one I was holding up just then. Because basically, that type I was holding up, although that type of body armor it's still made. I don't think the UK police use it as much anymore. They seem to use more ones that look like this, you know, with kind of a lighter profile. 50 odd quid, Steve, so closer to 60 than 50. And before anybody asks, eBay, where I get all this stuff from, it's always eBay. But yeah, the thing I like about this one, obviously, is the fact that you've got the sort of, you know, stretchable bits on the outside, so you can just quickly adjust it to how you want it. But if you search covert armor on eBay, you'll find it there. And to prove it's covert, right, let's see how noticeable it is. Thank you very much, Nintendo Boy. No, there was no weirdness about it at all. I'll go get them. Thank you very much for that. I can't show them working with the Martini Henry, not Martini Henry, the Schmitz Rubin, I'm afraid, because of YouTube policy, but I'll go get the cartridges because I'm sure they won't throw a fit about that. Right, obviously won't show everybody your notes. I think it's got your email on the back of there, isn't it? So yeah, there's your nice snap caps, which are ones that look more like real rounds or feel more like real rounds. See, obviously at the bottom it's kind of like a gel type thing there. So yeah, that's the ones for the Rubin, but not the the Rubin, but I won't put them in now. So there's your spent cases. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. So that's the 410, is it, this one, with like the wax sort of bit on it. So that's a spent, I know you put on the thing, but it'd be nice to try and work out looking at the thing. If I can actually see the writing on it in there. 7.62 by 54, so like what the Moss in the Gant shoots and all those. This is quite a neat little case. Is this like a 22 long rifle or something? It's obviously a rim fire because of where it's been struck on the thing. I'll read out the thing in a second. I assume this is 9mm or 45, one of those sort of things. Oh, wait, there's one in there as well. So there's another little rimfire type case by the look of it. And I assume this is 9mm or similar. Win something Luger. Oh yeah, 9mm Luger. So 9mm. I think you put on the paper, didn't you, what they were? I just didn't want to hold it up in case your email or whatever was visible on it. So I'll hold it here. Well, that's not the one. Where did I put the bit of paper that just fell out of there? There we go. 410 shot shell, so that's obviously this one. 7.62 by 54, that's this one. 9mm, definitely the other one I held up, wherever that's fallen. There we go. And so one's a 17 and the other's a 22 rimfire. So which one is which, I don't actually know, but yeah, but the point is, Steve, that they load in because obviously they're inert rounds. It doesn't matter that they're actual proper rounds because, yeah, the early model Schmitz Rubin didn't shoot the brass rounds, but you could load them in. And the Swiss viewers said basically in training they were told only use them as a last resort. But there's videos of people cycling them. So the point is that, you know, they cycle fine if you want to. 17 is a long one. I guess it's higher pressure, isn't it? Is that 17 HMR or whatever it's called? Is it 17 HMR? And then obviously, yeah, 22 long rifles, the really small one. Yeah, thank you very much for those. I appreciate it. I'll put those with all my other rounds. Can you tell you what? Because you put those in a bag, I might put all my other rounds in one of these bags later, actually. Yesterday, I was all right. It was the day before yesterday I was a bit ill. But yeah, for the people in the stream, I'll mostly be answering questions or chatting with people about, you know, stuff that's interesting. So if people keep spamming, do you own this? Do you own that? I'll probably just ignore you. Right, if I do it off frame, let's see. What I need to do is just lift this over the webcam. There we go. Take this over here where the webcam can't see it because of YouTube's stupid policy. Let's get 2 of these. And let's try putting them in. All right, I'll let you know if they load and cycle properly. So let's put that thing off that blocks the magazine. There we go. Yeah, that's gone in all right. Yeah, that definitely cycles. I don't know where that went. Now, the next one doesn't want to quite feed up, but hang on a second. Probably go up. There we go. And eject it. Yeah, that's definitely somewhere else in the room now. But the point is, yes, thank you very much. They feed and eject fine, but they eject so fine that I'm going to have to go find them in a minute because I think they've probably gone behind the desk. But yeah, thank you very much. I'll do a proper video on those. I was going to do it today, but I ended up today doing a video on that body armor as it came today. But yeah, I think one of them's gone down here. Oh wait, no, that's my dosimeter pen. I saw that and thought it was brass. Yeah, I reckon they've gone behind the screen. Alright, cool. Yeah, the MSA Advantage 410 is a really nice mask, isn't it? They're from the States, Jordan, because I was very kindly sent them by Nintendo Boy, who's Tavares Artyom, and probably got some other names as well. But yeah. So that's these. But yeah, they load absolutely fine and cycle in the Rubin fine. Although because my Rubin's not been properly used for probably decades, it's probably going to take a bit of cycling to get it all running properly. But yeah. So yeah, these do, for the people who said, oh, they won't load into a Rubin, they will load into a Rubin absolutely fine. The point is that the Rubin isn't meant to shoot these if you're actually shooting them, because of the fact that they're higher pressure rounds than, you know, if they were live rounds, which these aren't. These are inert rounds, snap caps. I did the gaming stream not that long ago. The issue is that I can't concentrate on the game and the chat very well at the same time. Wow, bravo. I would rather have a modern helmet like one of those. Thermoplastic. But between Kevlar and a steel pot, more late generation Kevlar helmets are better than steel pots. But if it was an option between like a British Mark 6A or an early Kevlar helmet and like a late gen steel helmet like an East German M56 or like one of the other steel helmets, probably the steel helmets. Shum 2012s aren't rare, they're modern masks. It's just there's not many people who export them from Russia at the moment. But I definitely will get a Shum 2012 at some point. I love the look of them, especially because, you know, it's a modern mask made from all the like sort of bits of those. But well, Destiny, if you watch my videos on it, you will know I own 2 working firearms, although one of them's in a condition that probably best not to shoot. But I don't own any rounds from because they're antique calibers. So basically ones where the UK has considered them safe to own as long as you don't, you know, do stupid shit with them. But yeah, the one I was cycling just earlier in the stream, so you could obviously tell it was cycling, all right, is the Schmitz Rubin, but I can't show it on the webcam. I know the antique in a deactivated Lee Enfield's up there. Yeah, deactivated Lee Enfield. But yeah, the Schmitz Rubin cycles absolutely fine, and I'll do a video on it cycling, but it ejects the cartridges pretty damn far. Doo-hoo-hoo, CC. I do like pancakes, though. But you get a few different varieties of pancake. Interestingly, it was only the first time recently I tried proper American pancakes. Because when we get pancakes here, they're very different than American pancakes. And like Scotch pancakes are closer to American pancakes, but they're not quite the same thing. American pancakes were really nice, but they're almost a lot more... pan and cake. The words definitely go together well for American ones. The pancakes we traditionally have over here are like much thinner, sort of crispier things. You can get them delivered, but you need to do all the ID stuff online when you order it. Antique flamethrowers, they'd have to be World War I, wouldn't they, to be an antique flamethrower? Right, waffles. When there's two types of waffles people get here. There's like potato waffles, which are more like, having chips or whatever else. They're like a savoury thing. And then there's like dessert waffles or whatever. And they're like the American waffles, because they're like kind of similar to pancakes, aren't they? They're kind of what do Americans call flapjacks, Arnold? Do Americans call something flapjacks that aren't flapjacks? Because yep, it's only cheapo Danish beer, but it is all right. Skal or cheers or whatever in your language. Yeah, it's a Nixie tube clock that Hype sent me. It was a really nice gift. So, it's one of those old, well, it's a modern one, but it's the old kind of vacuum tube clocks. Yeah, that's the thing. People have different names for all these things all around the world, don't they? It's just like crisps and chips mean a completely different thing to American and Brits. Because most of the things we'd call chips here, they call fries, although we also do have French fries and like small fries here. But then chips for them are like potato crisps. Yeah, you can get them apparently not too bad from China if you find somebody willing to send you one, because the Chinese don't charge retarded prices for the these. But if I can get that visible, yeah, it's a Nixie tube. Don't know how visible that would be, but yeah, it's like the heated little filaments inside with a vacuum tube. So obviously this is a different kind of vacuum tube, but it's that kind of thing inside, just one with numbers on it. But, vacuum tubes are cool. Again, I think you're probably some sort of audio elitist if you're like, oh, vacuum tubes are better than modern technology, but they're cool. I like them because they're cool and retro, not that they're necessarily better than modern things, although they have pros and cons. Right. What is the reading on it then, Thomas? Because both of them should be calibrated on cesium 137 if you've got both of them set to microsieverts. Yeah, I'm sure there's other countries as well, Nintendo Boy, that also use English as a language and use different words for things as well, which will get really confusing. The GQ GMC, there goes that decimeter pen. The GQ GMC 500 is pretty good as a starter one, just simply because it does several functions and it isn't that expensive. There's the GQ 300, but that's not got a very high range. The Terra P I really like, but the thing with the Terra P is the display isn't designed to be easy to use, or like, the functions menu aren't very good on the Terra P. This is kind of a better Geiger counter if you want something that's, just simple to read and understand what it's doing. This has different functions on it. It has a screen like an old Nokia phone, which I really like as well. Yeah, somebody brought up paintball. They're pretty similar readings, Thomas. Bear in mind they use different Geiger-Müller tubes in both those Geigers. Those are pretty similar readings because there's always going to be a small amount. You're never going to really get several Geigers that read the exact same microsieverts background sort of thing. But yeah, if they're both reading that seems pretty fine to me. If you put a check source near them and they also get pretty similar numbers, that's fine. But the majority of my Geigers never give the exact same number on them. And again, that's part of the problem of a Geiger counter. That's why ionization chambers are better for pure kind of ionization readings. Yeah, I will do White Wolf. Good point. Because I've got this updated vest now, I'll definitely cover this one in it because of the fact it fits nicer under a jacket. Yeah, I'll try and keep this stream mostly on topic just because it was mostly to start with about the body armor. And I don't mind talking about like other stuff, but I'd rather keep it surplus themed and kind of, you know, that sort of thing, rather than it turning really into random stuff. I've not got any World War One gas masks, except a replica one. But no, I don't have any World War One masks. The oldest masks I've got are like very early World War Two, sort of pre-World War Two gas masks. But I've not got, you know, like ones that were made in the 30s. I've not got any that are 1914 to 1918. Yeah, I've still got the Polish body armor. Weirdly, that's in a video that's coming out, I think it's on Friday. Let me check the day it comes out. Wait, what's today? Thursday? No, it'll come out on Sunday then. Right, yeah, on July the 12th, there's a video on the body armor, and the Polish one's in that. The video is called Different Types of Body Armor, and it's just basically showing, you know, like police-style armor and the ECBA, and then like the really heavy Polish armor. It's to basically explain to people that don't know that you do get different kind of weights and styles of body armor. Just because a lot of people seem to think, that's called a wolf. Somebody else has got one of those. I think it's Max, what's his name? Yeah, the FLIR is really cool, the identifier, Thomas, but that's technically not even a Geiger counter. That's a type of scintillation counter, I believe, a spectrometer. It's basically got a database of radionuclides in it, and then how it works is, judging by the spectrum of what it analyzes, it then basically picks up what the radionuclide is pretty accurately, and then tells you what the dose is quite accurately based on the sample size of what it's picking up. Not really White Wolf, unfortunately, because with all the riots going on around the world at the moment, and protests and coronavirus, they're still not really back to normal. There's a few good sellers which are selling masks and that at good prices. Oh, the filters Peach recommended, I don't know if he's on, from Prepper's shop. They came yesterday, so they literally came a day after ordering them, which was pretty damn good. So yeah, the 40mm 3M in-date filters from 2020, all sealed and that, from Prepper's shop for like 12 quid each. They came in a day of ordering, so that's very good. But yeah, for the most part, unfortunately, no, most masks aren't reasonable prices, because sellers, like Arnold said, if lots of people are willing to pay high prices for them, why would they reduce the price, you know? Thank you very much again, Nintendo Boy, Comrade Artyom, Devarish Artyom. That's a very strange argument. He says, I got into an argument today with this lady who swore wasp spray is better than OC spray. By wasp spray, does she literally mean like wasp as in like insecticide spray compared to pepper spray? Because his sister-in-law used it for self-defense once, and she's an air traffic controller and had cancer. Telephone books are probably all right against small knives. Telephone books don't work very well against certain types of bullets. Ash Stewart Exploration says, can I have a YT, I assume you mean YouTube channel, shout out? No, there's a couple of masks I will sell to people who are really interested in particular ones I've got, but for the most part, no, because I collect them. Except for that guy, Joe Mama, who won Darwin Award by basically getting a load of phone books or encyclopedias and then testing if it stopped a pistol round, it didn't, he died. Because, you know, that's a really good Darwin Award. Don't even test it first, you know, not having a person behind it, just hold some phone books and hope it stops a bullet. Well, I think it was something like a Desert Eagle, wasn't it? So that was an even bigger Darwin Award, you know. Because get a really big fucking Magnum round, I'm sure, you know, risking your life to see if a phone book will stop it is a good way of doing it. There's videos on my channel of them and other people's channel, Nikolai. It's the powered respirator things, you know, where they pull air using a pump through a filter. Yeah, I would not pay 400 Canadian dollars for an M40. Yeah, if you put enough together, Kyle, but at that point it would be really bulky and uncomfortable. They're probably quite practical, Mouse, but again, they're probably very heavy and everything else. So practical in, you know, the sense of they would work. Again, the reason modern vests are small is because, you know, better technology. You don't need thick bits of steel to get the same effect from Kevlar. Completely depends on what gas mask you buy, Sam. Some will come with drinking tubes, some won't. I wouldn't really think so, Train Spotter. Here's the thing. Sensitivity on a Geiger counter will come down to the thickness of the case and a lot of other factors. If you want really high sensitivity, you wouldn't go for a Geiger counter full stop. You'd go for a really good scintillator. So again, I don't think it's going to be better than a Therapy. It'll be pretty similar. But again, the Therapy is modern, and in general, modern electronics, if made better, are better than like 1990s electronics. No, I've never been in the army, and you can stop spamming the question. Not really, Tommy. You could try and buff it out with some sort of like rubber or acrylic cleaner, but I don't know how well it would work. The problem is with like the MP5 lenses, they're kind of soft rubber, aren't they? The only Soviet Geiger counter that's probably good for a beginner is the DP5. DP5V particularly. Some sort of stupidly heavy stuff, White Wolf. I don't actually know which particular model, but, you know, like some sort of breaching kind of armor, I guess. I'll turn the Geiger counter off because it's annoying me ticking now, but it is background levels of radiation, by the way. It's just that, you know, if it's constantly ticking at an irregular pace, it's not great for me trying to concentrate on the video. When you say you have a Desert MP5, are you sure it's just not the French one? I'm pretty sure you've got the French one, which isn't as good as the MP5. That's a very strange question, William the Gun. That the obvious answer is yes, but I'm blocking you because you sound like a cunt. Yeah, but it's not actually as good as the MP5. Because the MP5 is made from better materials, funnily enough. In theory, Arnold, yes. I mean, I suppose it would depend to what degree the EMP is, because I'm supposing if you had a really, really strong EMP, it would probably break stuff regardless. But the Chinese ones with the metal cases don't get screwed up by electromagnetism. I'm getting pretty bored, by the way, of people spamming, like, what's a good cheap gas mask? You've clearly not been listening to anything I've been saying recently in the stream. So if mods want to start timing out and blocking people for spamming questions, they're perfectly welcome to. I'm also getting rid of anybody that's a new name and I don't recognize them, and they're just making weird comments because I'm thinking there's probably some weirdos coming on the stream again. But, you know. Yeah, there's no restrictions on Armour Spencer in the UK. The thing is, most people would have no need for it, but you literally can buy whatever you want. There is a few kinds of armor that like manufacturers might say, or like retailers might say, we won't sell it to civilians, you know, we'll only sell it to companies or the police or the military or whatever. But in terms of as a civilian, what you're allowed to own, there is no restrictions whatsoever. No, I've not tried on one of those giant Russian helmets. They're pretty cool, but from what I understand, they're pretty pointless because if they stop something that's going ballistically fast enough, you know, protect you, they're going to cause you neck damage anyway. I've been playing Vampire most of today, Mike, other than just sorting out shit around the house, you know, funeral stuff, all that sort of stuff. Vampire is really good. I'm actually really enjoying that, even though, like, the reviews for it were all over the place. You got that person very quickly. Well done. Yeah, I never understand that when you have countries that say you can't own masks, you can't own armor. Because the thing is, even though I think it's a bit silly with guns, I can understand with guns that, because you could, in theory, shoot somebody, you can harm other people with them. But when it's literally defensive equipment, like, the only argument I ever hear is it makes it harder for the police to stop a criminal. But, it's like, how often is it that the police stop a criminal, fail to stop a criminal because of protective gear? And how often is it that regular people, lives might be saved by it? £80 considering current prices for a fish eater A4 isn't bad. I mean, they're not really worth that, but considering, how high prices are across the board for masks. It's not too bad. For the people spamming questions, I've already warned you, you're probably all going to start getting blocked now. If the mods don't do it, I might. If you're spamming a question and not answering it, it's probably because you're spamming a question, or you're not even asking a proper question. So somebody is asking me, despite the fact just in the last minute I was saying I was playing a game all day, somebody's now saying, do you play video games? I'm pretty sure, Sam, it's just because they're very similar looking masks, so unless a seller knows better, they're going to call them the MP5. Yeah, it's strange, isn't it, White Wolf? Lots of them are selling out in places, but you see very few people wearing masks. It does make you think. It was literally on this video, Victor, like a minute ago. Yeah, that's the thing, because a few people have said to me, can I look out for masks for them and let them know if I spot any for good prices? And there's, like, since they've asked that, they're never going to turn up at good prices. Yeah, but I suppose that's the thing, Steve, isn't it? You eventually do get to the stage where, but the thing is, the police, I do think the police should be armed, in general. I don't really get the people who, as long as they're held accountable for what they do, I don't understand the idea of, like, completely unarming the police. I've never heard of it, David, so I'm afraid I can't give you any info on it. Yeah, you've probably got the one with bad rubber as well, Benny, because the French ones didn't have good rubber, unfortunately. What country are you in, Dom? At the moment, the best place I found to get in-date filters for a decent price is Prepper's Shop, weirdly, because they've got 2020 sealed, like manufactured in 2020, sealed 3M filters, like the multi-vapor particle ones, for like £15 a filter. I'm going to do a video on them at some point, but yeah, that's a good point, isn't it, Steve? So yeah, the armed police anyway have stuff which will defeat the armor, but the armor itself will hopefully stop knives and most pistol rounds. But no, you can't have it because, well, I mean, like, thankfully that's not the law here. But it does weird me out, those laws. Quite a few years, Nikolai. It's hard to say exactly when it becomes a collection, isn't it? Because if you buy one mask and then you buy another mask and then you buy another mask, at which point does it become a collection and not just a series of masks you've got? I've sort of seen them, White Wolf, but I've never seen them in person. I like the idea of stuff like that, but in general with body armor, I like stuff that uses the proper certified style, fillers, rather than it being own branded stuff. In theory, it's a good idea, but like Weapon Collector's done quite a few video with those like cut resistant sleeves, and he shows that, you know, most things go through them, no issue whatsoever. So it seems a lot of those things, unless they come to a proper, you know, like agreed upon international standard of protection, they're not really worth much. Old decimeter pens, Adam, aren't really used anymore just because of the style of them. If you bought a load of them and charged them all up, a few of them probably would work pretty accurately. But the problem is you'd have to wear several pens or keep several pens at once. I do as well, Mike. His name always weirds me out when I see that. Maybe it's just quite a common name, I don't know. Right, I'll probably stay on another 10 minutes because at the moment we've had a few people, you know, some of the regulars making good comments, but this stream's kind of been one of those slightly frustrating ones where a lot of it is just boring question spam, as in, you know, people who'd watch any videos would know the answers from. Yeah, well, for a lot of people say a lot of the gun companies' knives are cool. I think there was a Smith & Wesson one that used to be sold fairly cheaply by like Heine Haynes in the UK. I'm kind of annoyed I never got it, but, you know. Ah, that's good, Sean. Yeah, the Bereg's cool, isn't it? I like the Bereg just because it's literally a color code of its background radiation or something's gone wrong. So it's very simple to understand. Again, the Bereg's a bit outdated by smaller modern digital ones that give you a better digital readout, you know, and all that. But I like the Bereg for what it is, you know, kind of being early sort of chip technology sort of thing. So yeah, I'll take this off again so people can see I did have a vest on, but the point was I was making with the vest is that this one does fit quite well under, you know, things. If you're interested in these, just search like police vest on eBay if you're in the UK, or like concealable body armor or something like that, and they turn up. This one was just under £60, Rumbo. It was grade B secondhand, which isn't grade A, but luckily all the tears in it are just like little bits to the fabric, not around where any of the zips or bits of Velcro are, so it's fine. But yeah, if you want to actually see it, I don't know why I'm taking that bit off. It's easier to take these off from the side. So basically, that's the name of the brand. It will focus. So SAT Sioan or something, armor technology. I really like DPM. The only issue with DPM stuff is the trousers and all that it was printed on weren't very tough, but the camo pattern itself I think is excellent. It's just that Britain kind of printed it on, like, you know, the cheapest material possible. So you've got your front and back plate. Obviously, that's not got any writing on it of what actually the armor's tier is. I'll open up one of the other bits in a bit and see if I can spot anything that actually says there's two panels in this one. That's interesting. Or is there? Or is it one that's just overlaps the other one? Okay, so that one overlaps. That's interesting. Yeah, so I get how that works. This one overlaps because it basically does that. So does it have NIJ rating actually on it? No, see where somebody's worn it and had like a bit of a sweat thing on it. I'm sort of tempted to wipe that with a cloth, but you know, it's inside the thing, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, it's quite a good thing as well. I do like it's got Velcro on there as well, because the Velcro there means it actually stays where it's meant to stay in a liner rather than crumpling at the bottom. Right, YouTube says unable to connect to chat, so I don't know if the chat's broken. I did make the mistake of streaming by Chrome today, but I'm pretty much done with this stream now anyway. So thank you to everybody that donated. And a big thank you to Tavara Shartion and that for sending me the inert rounds and the cartridge cases and that as well. All right, see you everybody. Thank you for everybody that's been sensible on the stream. But not so much thank you to the people spamming weird questions as usual. But yeah, so videos as usual Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. Might not do a stream tomorrow. We'll see. Right, bye.